Definitely Maybe didn't arrive fully formed. Oasis didn't just walk into a studio, turned it all up to 11 and walked out with a classic. That isn't what happened. The album almost didn't work at all, and for a while it looked like it might fall apart before it ever became what we now realise. The first attempt to record the album took place at Monnow Valley studio in Wales. On paper it made sense. The idea was to capture Oasis as they sounded live. But something didn't translate. The performances were there, but the feeling wasn't. Recordings sounded too clean, too controlled, too polite. And that gap was the problem. As Bonehead later said, it was thin, it was weak, too clean. It didn't feel like Oasis. These early recordings felt like a version of them that had been watered down, and that's when it became clear something had to change. The turning point came when producer Owen Morris stepped in, and his approach wasn't about refinement, it was about impact. He didn't want clarity, he wanted intensity. Morris later said his approach was, let's just go and be young and compress the shit out of this so that the speakers blow up. That was the philosophy. Instead of isolating every instrument, he pushed everything together. The band were largely recorded playing live in the same space, with overdubs added afterwards. He compared the sonic goal to The Who's live at Leeds. The aim wasn't perfection, it was presence. Loud, dense, immediate, wall of sound presence. The later sessions at Sawmills studio in Cornwall are where things started to lock in. By this point the band weren't figuring out who they were anymore. They'd been playing these songs for a long time, and engineer John Cornfield described it simply. They nailed it live, there was no messing about. And that means the studio wasn't shaping Oasis, it was capturing something already formed on stage. Some of the songs weren't carefully engineered over long studio experimentation, they were delivered on instinct, already alive before recording properly began. Songs like Rock and Roll Star have a young voice, asking to be heard. It doesn't feel like aspiration, it feels like declaration. What Owen Morris ultimately created was not a clean production style, it was density. He compressed and layered the sound until it became one unified force working together rather than separate instruments. The result is heavy saturation, extreme loudness, reduced separation between instruments and sonic pressure. It doesn't feel balanced, but it feels pushed to the edge, and that's the point. Songs like Rock and Roll Star sound like a door being forced off its hinges. Supersonic just sounds like Britpop arrived. Live Forever is not cynical, it's not ironic, it's direct in its optimism, it's aggressive in its positivity, it's genuine. So when it all comes together, Definitely Maybe stops sounding like a collection of songs. It becomes a single statement. While later albums such as What's the Story are masterpieces, they were really a set of individual songs, but Definitely Maybe just felt like a wall of sound all at once. A band that already believed they were the biggest finally recorded in a way that matched that belief. The truth is, Definitely Maybe didn't just come from one perfect studio moment. It came from failed sessions, heavy compression, live takes, and a producer who decided that subtlety was the wrong language entirely. And that's why it feels the way it does. Not polished. Right there with you, alive, loud, electric, trying to break through. And when you press play today, it doesn't feel like history. It feels like something that never quite finished arriving.